Welcome to episode 121 of the Hurricane Mike Show, where today we're going to be going over a lot of NBA offseason moves because, right now it's the dark part of the offseason, so we're going to be going over some basketball for a little bit. However, we obviously got to do the normal intro. Dad, have you watched the new Netflix, I wouldn't say new, but did you watch season 2 of Netflix's show Quarterback yet?
I did not.
All right, because I haven't either. But I saw this clip on the internet where Kirk Cousins, you remember Kirk Cousins, the guy that the Falcons fans claimed as the savior of their team, but now they all want him gone. You remember that Kirk Cousins?
Yes.
Well, apparently, funny enough, the Falcons in general, they quote, I'm not just speculating, this is what Kirk said on the show, kind of blindsided Kirk in a way. Because they didn't know that they were going to take a quarterback in the first round. Ain't that fun?
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Connor, how you doing? But yeah, that's the intro for you. Unfortunately, we can't play the freaking the normal intro anymore. I guess I don't know what's going on there. But anyways, let's go over some. Let's go over some free agency stuff. All right, so we're going to go over each team's offseason one at a time in alphabetical order, starting with the Atlanta Hawks. So guys that the Hawks signed, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Luke Kennard, and they traded for Kristaps Porzingis. And they departed from Clint Capella, Karis LeVert, Larry Nance Jr., Terrence Mann, Georges Niang, and David Roddy. How do you feel about the Hawks free agency?
It looks like to me it's just a pretty much of a wash because they lost some good talent, and yes, they received some good talent, but I don't think anything really moves the needle there.
Yeah, Connor says David Jaxo is a free agent. I don't know who the heck that guy is, but okay. Yeah, the Hawks, I mean, they got some key shooters now. Like Luke Kennard is one of the best shooters in the NBA. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, he used to be on the Pelicans, so I can attest. He's a solid role player, a guy that can come off the bench and give you some starter-type points. And Porzingis, they trade for him in that trade with the Celtics and the Nets, the 3-team trade. And it's like, yeah, we already know what KP is. Now, they lost Clint Capella and LeVert. Those are probably the two biggest. Larry Nance departed. So, they lost a lot of key contributors off the bench, including Capella. So, yeah. All right. And now the Boston Celtics. Let's see their additions and departures. So, they added Georges Niang, Luka Garza, Josh Minott, and Anthony Simons. And they departed with Drew Holiday, Luke Cornett, and Kristaps Porzingis. They got it just mentioned. How do you feel about the Celtics? Well, hold on. First, what would you grade the Hawks free agent class first before we get to us? What would you grade it?
I graded a B-, my boy. A B-.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'll grade it just a solid C. I don't really think they got better or worse from the free agency. Now the Celtics that I just mentioned, how do you feel about it? Then give me your grade afterwards.
Pretty much the same with them. I don't think they got any better. I mean, their whole thing is keeping Jaylen Brown and the health of Jason Tatum. That's gonna tell you how they're gonna do next year.
Yeah. Connor says Braden Brown could be traded. Are you trying to talk about Jaylen Brown, or are you just making up a random name again? Because I don't know what they're going to do. But yeah, look, I actually think the Celtics kind of got worse here. Like mainly because of the Drew Holiday, and I understand they had to get off this contract. And I like the trade, getting Anthony Simons, but like Drew Holiday just brought like energy to the Celtics, like that defensive piece. So I don't know. The Celtics, I think, actually might be a playing team next year because Tatum's not going to be there. Jaylen Brown, he's good, but like, can he really carry a team? Like, I'm not talking about just like being the best player on a finals team. I'm talking about literally carrying the team. I don't know if he can, but we'll see. This is what turns boys into men. So if I had to grade the Celtics, I would say probably a C-, honestly. Brooklyn Nets, they re-signed Daron Sharp and Zaire Williams. They added Terrence Mann and Michael Porter Jr., and they lost Cam Johnson, D'Angelo Russell, and Trendon Watford. How do you feel about the Nets, and what do you grade them?
You forgot something. They got 5 first-round picks coming in also. But anyway,
well, yeah, they drafted all 5 first-round picks. It's crazy.
They did, but I don't look for the Nets to do anything special next year. They're still a young, rebuilding team, and their off-season looks like it. So I don't expect them to even make the play in next year.
Yeah, with the Nets, they, I think, downgraded with Michael Porter Jr. and Cam Johnson. I feel like I would have kept Cam Johnson. Like MPJ, he's a good player, but I don't really think he can. Like, honestly, he might be the Nets' best player. I don't even know who else is on the Nets. But like the Nets, they didn't really do anything. Like, in fact, they lost just like the Celtics, except the Celtics had a chance, but the Nets, they don't have no chance. Nets, I'm gonna give honestly a D because this is just a mesh of people at this point. Hornets. They re-signed Trey Mann. They added Pat Connaughton, Spencer Dinwiddie, Mason Plumlee, and Colin Sexton. And they lost Vasily Misic. I probably butchered the heck out of that name. Yusuf Nurkic and Mark Williams, as Connor says, West Hollywood. Okay, cool. So how do you feel about the Hornets free agency, and what's your grade?
And I don't see them getting any better, any worse from these acquisitions. So we'll just have to see how these new players interact. I'm not really familiar with most of them. I do know Plumlee. The other guys, I'm not so sure of. But we'll see how it works out.
Yeah. So what's your grade?
I give them a C.
Okay. All right. You had anything else, Dad?
Nope. It's good on that.
All right. Yeah. I mean, look. So Hornets. I think I would actually give them a B-. I feel like they got some good bench depth with Pat Connaughton and Dinwiddie, and they brought Mason Plumlee in, who I think used to play for the team as well. And he's a good big man. He's a solid depth big man. And Colin Sexton, he was a solid guard for Utah and Cleveland. So, and they didn't really lose anybody. Like their biggest name was they only lost 2 centers and a guy that barely saw the court. So I think this is a good class of free agents. So I'm gonna give it B-, as Connor says, capital T. Cool. Anyways, Chicago Bulls re-signed Trey Jones. They added Isaac Okoro, but lost Lonzo Ball, and that's basically all that their offseason was when it comes to free agency. So how do you feel about the Bulls free agency?
Well, just like you said, they haven't done a whole lot. So I expect them to do pretty much the same they did last year. Didn't get better, didn't get worse. So my grade will be probably a C+.
For the Bulls, I would give this a C-. It's like they brought back Trey Jones, which that's a solid move. But they traded Ball for Okoro. And #35Bombers says, hey, how you doing? #35Bombers or Bombers.
Bombers. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. I don't think I've ever seen you in chat before, so welcome. We accept all guests, even if you're a Falcon fan. But yeah, Lonzo Ball for Isaac Okoro straight up. It's like, bro, I don't get the trade. Like, I mean, I guess you're getting younger, and Okoro's not as injury prone as Ball, but I still don't like the trade. So I would give this actually a D. Actually, yeah, when I'm still gonna give it a C plus. Did you grade the Bulls?
C.
A C? Okay. All right. Hashtag 35 Bomber says go Saints. Yes, that's what we like, man. We like them go Saints now. We like them go Saints. Yep. All right. Cleveland Cavaliers re-signed Sam Merrill, added Lonzo Ball, Larry Nance Jr., and they lost Ty Drummond and Isaac Coro in the process. As Connor says, of leaving Montana. Okay. So how do you feel about the Cavaliers for agency, and what's your grade for them?
I do like what the Cavaliers have done. They were one of the best teams in the league last year. They may have even had the best record, at least in the East.
They did.
Yeah. So I think they did add some pieces that they can use to even develop further into the playoffs and be a more dominant team, be a deeper team. So that's what I see from the Cavaliers this upcoming year. They're going to be a hard team to play.
Yeah, with the Cavs, I think this. Wait, hold on. Did you grade them?
I'll give them A minus.
A minus, okay. I'm gonna give them a B plus. Look, I love Lonzo Ball. Ever since his Pelicans days, I love Lonzo Ball. And Dan, I have a question though. So, were you a Lakers fan when Lonzo Ball was on the team? Because I know you used to be a Lakers fan. Were you a fan when he was on the team?
I was.
Or was that on the bench? You were?
Yeah.
All right, but then LeBron went there, and that just ruined it for you.
I just messed it all up. I'm a Laker fan in recess. Soon, not long from now, I'll be a Laker fan again. I'll be wearing a little Lakers jersey because Kobe Bryant, one of my heroes, my brother, one of my heroes.
I mean, that's gonna be interesting. You got a Pelicans fan on one end and a Lakers fan on the other. That'll be crazy. Because I don't even like the Lakers. So, but anyways, Cavs. Anyways, back on this. Lonzo Ball, Larry Nance were their key additions and their only additions. Like, I like Ball. I think the only reason that the Bulls traded Ball was because of his injury history. But I think Ball is a step up because now you got Ball running the point, Spider at the 2, and whoever they put at 3, and then you got Jared Allen and Evan Mobley down low. That's a pretty good lineup. So for the Cavs, I'm gonna give it a B plus. If they would have kept that Ty Jerome, it'd be like a backup point guard. It would probably have been a solid A, but not bad. Dallas Mavericks re-signed Dante Exum and Kyrie Irving. They added D'Angelo Russell and they lost Spencer Dinwiddie. So that a basic offseason. But how you feel about the Mavericks free agency?
I like it. They're loading up. I mean, it was important to keep Kyrie in the fold, and the other moves that they made are going to build around Kyrie and the number 1 draft pick. So yeah, I like what they did. I give them a solid B plus.
B plus. Okay, with the Mavericks, I'm gonna give them. This is tough. I'm gonna give the Mavericks an A minus. The only reason it's an A minus is because what D'Lo are you getting? Are you getting trade deadline D'Lo, or are you getting a playoff D'Lo? And before you ask what, they're two different D'Los. D'Lo, whenever you mention a trade potentially trading away D'Lo, he wants to score 40 points. But then when he's in the playoffs, he wants to shoot like 0 for 5 from the field and don't make a shot. So which D'Lo are you getting? That's why it's only an A minus, not an A. However, I feel like Russell's kind of like Spencer Dinwiddie, so like they're not really losing much there. And Kyrie is going to be out for most of the season anyway. So you got D'Lo running the point until Kyrie comes back. I think will help. So yeah, Mavs. I'm gonna go A minus. Denver Nuggets didn't re-sign nobody. They brought in Bruce Brown, thank God, Cam Johnson, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Jonas Valanciunas, and they lost Michael Porter Jr. and Dario Saric. How do you feel about the Denver Nuggets free agency?
It really doesn't move me. I mean, you listen to the experts; they say Jokic needed some pieces around him, and they think they got it with some of these guys. I mean, it's yet to be determined, but I'm gonna give it a C minus.
I'm gonna give the Nuggets a B plus. I actually incredibly like their free agent class. Because you traded Michael Porter Jr. for Cam Johnson, you get younger at the position and you get more talent in my opinion with the trade. You brought in Tim Hardaway Jr. who can space the floor, who can shoot corner threes, and Jonas Valanciunas. Once again, as a Pelicans fan, I can attest to this. As long as he does not go to the Euro League like he was planning to do, Jonas is a good box out player. So, and you lost Porter and Sarge, but I feel like Valanciunas is a better version of Sarge, and they got off of his contract anyway. So, Nuggets, I'm giving B plus. Detroit Pistons re-signing Paul Reed. They added Karis LeVert and Duncan Robinson, and they lost Simone Fontecchio, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Dennis Schroeder. How do you feel about the Pistons free agent class?
I think the Pistons got a little worse here. Schroeder was a big loss, and the other guy you just mentioned, I can't remember his name.
Tim Hardaway Jr.
Tim Hardaway Jr. Those are big losses on a team that really didn't have a whole lot of talent to begin with. So they're in full rebuild mode, I believe. We'll just, better luck next year, I guess. I will give them a D plus.
Okay, I'm gonna go with C with the Pistons because they added Karis LeVert and Duncan Robinson, two guys. Well, LeVert is more of like a mid-range type of guy. Duncan is a 3-point shooter. They lost Simone. I don't remember one Simone Fontecchio highlight in my life, so I don't know who. So I can't name you one highlight I've seen from him. Tim Hardaway Jr., like I said, can space the floor and can shoot corner threes. And Dennis Schroeder, he's a little inconsistent, but he's still talented. So I'm gonna give this I forgot what I even said. No, I think I'm gonna give this a C. So Golden State Warriors. This might be one of the only teams that hasn't done a thing. They re-signed nobody. They added nobody, and their loss is Kevon Looney, obviously, to my Pelicans. So, how do you feel about the Warriors? Basically, how do you feel about them losing Kevon Looney? Because that's all we're talking about right now.
That's I would say that's a big loss. I mean, Looney's a big body on a team that really doesn't have a whole lot of size. I mean, you got Draymond Green, but he's getting a little old, and he never really was a dominant big man per se. So I'd say Golden State needs to make a move for a big guy, but so it is a little loss. So I'm gonna give them a D plus.
I'm gonna give the Warriors an F minus. You know why? Because we have nothing to grade them off of. They lost Kevon Looney, and that's it. I heard rumors of them trying to add a guy like Al Horford. Heard rumors of them trying to bring back Jonathan Kuminga, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. It's an F minus because you lost one of your key contributors, Kevon Looney. I'm sorry, I can't grade you higher than an F minus because you didn't sign anybody. That's like if I was to not come to class a single day out of the week and expect to at least get a D for that. I'm sorry, but attendance pushes you down. I'm sorry, that is what it is. Anyways, but yeah, Houston Rockets. Now, they did a lot of stuff. They re-signed Steven Adams, Aaron Holiday, Jeff Green, Jabari Smith Jr., Jae'Sean Tate, and Fred VanVleet. They added Clint Capella, Kevin Durant, and Dorian Finney-Smith. And they lost Dylan Brooks, Jalen Green, Jock Landale, and Cam Whitmore. So how do you feel about the Rockets free agency?
It looked like the Rockets hit the jackpot, really. I mean, it looked like they're loading up for a serious run in the West. I mean, the West should be pretty loaded next year, so it'll be interesting to see how they fit in the pecking order. But I'm going to give their off-season transactions an A minus.
A minus. Okay. Rockets. Clint Capella, who actually used to be on the Rockets. I remember when he signed to Houston, I was like, wasn't he already a Rocket? But I was tripping. I was like, is it him I'm thinking of? So then I look up his stats. And I'm like, yeah, he was a Rocket. But yeah, then Dorian Finney-Smith, a guy that can come off the bench and even start a couple games if you need him to. And obviously you got Kevin Durant. I don't even think I need to explain who Kevin Durant is. Like we all know Kevin Durant, future first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt about it. Won 2 rings with the Warriors. I think the Rockets definitely were one of the biggest winners of the offseason, and they lost Jalen Green, but he was young and he wasn't really performing. Jock Landale, okay, who? And Cam Whitmore, he's not bad. Obviously, Cam Whitmore I actually liked in the draft process. So I think the Rockets, I'll give it an A. I'll just give it an A. And also, I also got rumors now going across my phone that the Clippers are the favorites to sign Bradley Beal. So I have a question for you. If you were the Clippers, and we'll get to them, don't worry, but we'll get to them. But if you were the Clippers, would you sign Bradley Beal?
Has Bradley Beal ever found his shot yet?
I don't know.
I think he left his 3-point shot in Washington, but that's for another day. So I don't know what they're getting with Bradley Beal anymore. I mean, he's an older player now. He may be on the downside of his career. I don't know. So I wouldn't be too excited about this pick.
Honestly, if I was the Clippers, I would actually sign Bradley Beal. Because you need another playoff failure with James Harden, right? Just
Correct.
you just have to fail in the playoffs if you're the Clippers. 7 points in a freaking game 7. Sure, yeah, go ahead and sign Bradley Beal. Let's see how far it gets you. Anyways, we're gonna get to Clippers after we get to the Pacers. Indiana Pacers, they had a basic offseason. They re-signed James Wiseman, added Jay Huff, but they lost Miles Turner. How do you feel about the Pacers?
Well, the biggest loss for the Pacers probably Tyrese Halliburton not going to play next year. He's still recovering from his Achilles tear, which usually takes about a full year to recover from. And, of course, he just injured that in the playoffs just this past month. So he's going to be out for a while. So that's a huge loss. So, and that's not really a fault, but I still got to give him a D.
Yeah. I'm not going to grade it off the Tyrese Halliburton thing, but I will say this. That does suck in the Pacers. I don't think they're going to get back to the finals again. So I feel like Game 7 was the Pacers' chance. And if Halliburton doesn't go down, I think you can make an argument that the Pacers could have won Game 7 because Tyrese Halliburton, when he entered that game, he was balling. Like I'm telling you, like he was like 3 for 3 from 3 or something like that. Like he was going crazy. I was like, oh yeah, this man is about to win Finals MVP and about to win the Finals in the same. The Pacers are about to win the championship for the first time. But then he got hurt, and then as soon as he got hurt, I was like, this game's over. Like you don't lose someone of Tyrese Halliburton's caliber and expect your team to hold up. And I ain't gonna lie, at first they were fighting hard. They were. But I didn't have my hopes up for the Pacers, and I feel bad for them Pacer fans. Anyways, but yeah, back on those Pacers, James Wiseman, Jay Huff, but you lose Miles Turner. It's like, okay, big whoop. Now I'm gonna give this a D. I also don't know any Jay Huff highlights. I don't remember him scoring a single bucket, so I don't know. And Miles Turner was a key factor of why the Pacers were in the NBA Finals. And James Wiseman, he's a draft bust, okay? Like it's safe to say he busted. He was a second overall pick by the Warriors a few years ago. Busted. So, yeah, Pacers, yeah, y'all get the D. You're lucky I don't give you all D minus. In fact, you know what? Screw that. Y'all get D minus now. Anyways, Clippers. Who we just talked about, re-signed Nicholas Batum and James Harden. They added John Collins and Brook Lopez, and they lost Norman Powell and Drew Eubanks. How do you feel about The Clippers free agent class.
I think the Clippers are the Clippers, and they're just spinning their wheels with James Harden. I mean, they got your other boy that's always hurt all the time,
Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi Leonard. So I don't know, nothing to be excited here with in Clipper land. So I'm going to give them a solid D plus.
Clippers, like they got John Collins and Brook Lopez. Like a lot of people were crapping on the Hawks when they traded Collins to the Jazz. And I like you can go look on my channel. I made a video about it. I actually think the Hawks won that trade before all this stuff went down. John Collins is just not that good. I'm sorry, he's not. Like the money he was being paid in Atlanta, it's like you would expect this guy to be on some Giannis type of time.
John Collins?
John Collins.
You never seen a video of it? I mean, a clip of him scoring a bucket?
I've seen clips of him scoring buckets, but he's just not that good. Like you can score buckets and still not be that good. Like I'll say John Collins is a decent, like he's a good player, but the money that he was getting paid in Atlanta, it's crazy. And Brook Lopez, he's a good shooter for a center, but other than that, he's kind of soft. So I don't know. And they lost Powell and Eubanks. So they got a little better, I'll say that, but I'll give this like a C minus. You know, they didn't really do that much. You know, they got congratulations, y'all brought back James Harden. And I'm sure that's gonna go smooth. I'm sure James Harden's the piece that you need to win championship, right? Okay, sure. Los Angeles Lakers. Okay. Re-signing my boy Jackson Hayes. They added DeAndre Ayton and Jake LaRavia, and they lost Dorian Finney-Smith. Holy crap, that's bad. How do you feel about the Lakers?
I mean, their number one concern needs to be building around Luka Doncic. And, they brought the big man in. They signed Hayes. Those are two good things to do. I mean, they need to get they need to get rid of LaFlop. They need him out the door, but in his little boy. But I'm gonna give them a solid C minus for trying.
Yeah, Lakers. I feel like Jackson Hayes is extremely underrated.
Did you hear that?
What?
That's the sound of LeBron flopping like he got shot in the face. You didn't hear that gunshot?
Oh. No, I heard it. Yeah, it sounded like a 4th of July firework. Yeah. Yeah. Like DeAndre Ayton, he had his time in Phoenix where it's like, okay, he might be one of the best centers. He was the number 1 overall pick. But even right before he went to Portland, he just became soft. Like soft in the middle, like a cupcake. Like that boy is a cupcake.
Like butter.
Yeah, man. Like that, bro. I don't understand what some of these teams think. They look at the name and they're like, "Oh, DeAndre Ayton. I've heard of him before. Yeah, let's give him a call." But like, okay. When he got cut by Portland, I was like, okay. So yeah, Lakers D plus. I don't know. Memphis Grizzlies, who were also a pretty active team. They re-signed Santi Aldama, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Cam Spencer. They added Cole Anthony, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Ty Jerome, and Jock Landale, and they lost Desmond Bane, Luke Kennard, and Jay Huff. How you feel about them Grizzlies? What's the grade?
I like what they did. They look like they got them a little depth on the bench to help that team. It's a young team. It's a good up-and-coming team. And I think they did well. So I'm going to give them a solid B.
A B, got it. Grizzlies. Yeah, I like their class. Brought in Cole Anthony with that trade with the Magic with Desmond Bane. Cole Anthony, right, when he was in Orlando, he was a solid 3-point shooter, right? KCP, when he was with the Lakers, the Magic, I'm pretty sure he was with the Wizards for a bit. 3-point shooter, pretty solid. Ty Jerome, 3-year deal for that defense. Okay, I'll take it. Well, no, I don't know. But Jock Landale, I'm still gonna say I've heard of him, but I've never seen a bucket. And their losses, Desmond Bain. Bain's good, but I think the Grizzlies won this trade. Like they got like 4 first-round picks for a guy that's not even the best player on their own team, or it was at least. It's like that's crazy. Luke Kennard, they lost. That's a big loss. NJ Huff, I still don't know who that is. That's literally an auto-generated player, so I don't know who that is. So Grizzlies, I'm gonna give them a C. All right, let's move down here. Miami Heat re-signed Not a Soul. They added Simone Fontecchio, Davion Mitchell, and Norman Powell, and they lost Carl Anderson, Kevin Love, and Duncan Robinson. How do you feel about the Heat and their free agency?
I think it's just I mean, all those players you told me that they lost, I never seen them make one bucket. I didn't see them make a finger roll. I didn't see them make one layup, much less be on a highlight of Sports Center. So, no, I'm gonna give the Heat a D plus because I don't know these boys.
But the Heat, I'm gonna give them honestly. Hold on, trying to think. I'm gonna give them an F. I'm sorry, like I try not giving out. I mean, I'm gonna give them a D minus. Okay, I think that's fair.
Don't let them off the hook.
Davion Mitchell. Oh, what happened?
Don't let them off the hook. If you think it's an F, give them an F.
Well, nah, I'm actually gonna give him a D minus because then it's like, well, Norman Powell's solid and he's good presence. So I think that warrants at least not an F because I think Norman Powell. Imagine having your free agency class saved by Norman Powell. But yeah, I think that's gonna bump him up to D minus, and that's the most I'm giving it to him. Simone, okay, another auto-generated fella. Davion Mitchell, he's not Donovan Mitchell, so Davion Mitchell is literally when someone says, "Hey, we got Donovan Mitchell at home," so it's like, bro, okay. And Norman Powell, he's a solid 3-point shooter. But they lost Kyle Anderson, Kevin Love, Duncan Rock. That's 3 solid guys. Other than Kyle Anderson having the ugliest jump shot known to man, Kevin Love and Duncan Robinson are 2 solid guys. For that, have you seen the way Kyle Anderson shoots this ball?
Show me.
I can't. But Kyle Anderson, he shoots the ball like he doesn't know how to shoot the ball. He shoots the ball like these. Like that boy shoots the ball like this. Like he's just throwing it up. It's like, and he somehow makes a shot sometimes, and I'm confused.
Slingshot.
Like that boy shoots the ball like he's out of his mind. But yeah, so y'all get D minus. Milwaukee Bucks. Bucky Bucks. Re-signed Kevin Porter Jr., Bobby Portis, Torian Prince, Ryan Rollins, Jericho Sims, and Gary Trent Jr. They added Miles Turner and Gary Harris. Okay, solid. Then the bombshells. They lost Pat Connaughton and Vasil Masick. Okay. Damian Lillard and Brook Lopez. That's definitely a way to keep your superstar happy. Yeah, the guy Giannis that said he wants more talent, and if you don't give it to him, he's gonna get traded. Yeah, let's just get rid of the second best player on the dang team. How do you feel about the Bucks free agency class?
Well, I never thought that Dame and Giannis meshed together very well since they've been together. So I don't think it's a terrible move like everybody else is saying. And they did bring in some nice pieces, some role players to go around their superstar. So let's just see how it works out. And, just see how it works out. I'm going to give them a C.
I'm gonna give him a D. I mean, you lose Damian Lillard, easily the second best player on that team. You lose Connaughton, solid shooter. You lose Brooke Lopez. It's, like I said, I'm not gonna cry over that. You added Miles Turner, which ain't the worst thing. So, but I mean, I'm sorry. Their two best players right now are Giannis and Miles Turner, and I just can't get behind that. Like, what is this? The '80s, where your best players have to be big men, or else you ain't winning. Okay. And plus, we don't even know if they're gonna have Giannis for real because there's still trade rumors of him leaving. All right, Minnesota Timberwolves. They re-signed Joe Ingles, Julius Randle, Naz Reid. They added nobody, and they lost Nikhil Alexander-Walker, Luka Garza, and Josh Minott. How do you feel about Timberwolves?
I think they're staying the same. I mean, they lost pretty much the same type of talent that they received. So I'm going to just stay right in the middle with them and give them a C.
All right. They didn't really lose anybody, but they didn't really add nobody. Like, their biggest loss is definitely NAW, Nikhil Alexander-Walker, who's a great role player. I'm gonna give them a C minus. It's like, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna give them a D because, like, bro, they lost a lot of people. But it's like, yeah. All right, New Orleans Pelicans, my guys, and your guys for now. Re-signed, absolutely no souls. They added Sadiq Bey, Kevon Looney, and Jordan Poole, and they lost Bruce Brown. Let's go. CJ McCollum and Kelly Olynyk, as Jerry says. Hey, Jerry, how you doing? So how you feel about them Pelicans, man? The 2025-26 NBA champions now I'm playing. How do you feel about the Pelicans?
You didn't even mention the draft choices, but
Well, yeah, because we already covered that, so I'm doing that.
I love the draft choices, and I love the pieces they added in trades, in free agency. And, you know, experts might not like what the Pelicans have been doing, but I love it. I love the aggressiveness Joe Dumars is coming into this job with, and I think it's going to pay off. And I'm giving my boys, your boys, Jerry's boys, an A minus.
Pelicans, look, when we were going into free agency, well, Dad, I have a question for you, and I want you to answer this. When we were heading into free agency, what was the main position everybody said the Pelicans needed?
Point guard.
Well, yeah. Everybody was saying that the Pelicans needed a center. All right. The pair with Yves Missy. And we got one of the best ones you could ever find. I remember last season watching the Warriors, and I was like, Kevon Looney would be an excellent fit with the Pelicans. And I was even saying that last season. So when I saw Looney was available, I was like, I hope the Pelicans pick him up. And lo and behold, that's what they did. Joe Dumars, even if this does not work out, and the Pelicans just fall flat on their faces, we give the Hawks like a top 5 pick if everything goes wrong. At least we can say one thing. Joe Dumars is trying. He's trying. David Griffin, bruh, some of the best free agents will be out there that the Pelicans could use, and he's just sitting back like these, watching it unfold. That the best move that he made was trading for DeJounte Murray. And I'm not counting the Zion trade. He got lucked into the first overall pick, or the draft pick, and yet we still don't even know if that would work at this point. But, bro, I'm like Dave Griffin, he'll just be sitting there with a cigar in his mouth, just be like, man, we could get a lot of shooters, but now we're just going to let them have their fun. That I remember there was nearly 2 years where the Pelicans did not sign a single free agent other than undrafted guys. And we sign our own players. It's like, bro, the free agency is there for a reason, people. Use it. But yeah, Pelicans, got Jordan Poole. Look, I love CJ McCollum. Don't take this. I'm not trying to have people say, oh, you just don't like CJ. Look, I love CJ McCollum. I love what he brought to the city. I love the energy that he had. But as of this time, it was time to move on. And we got Jordan Poole into the Bay. I'm not mad at it. Mick Swagger says LOL. Yep. Always good for a Hurricane, right? You know, we lost Bruce Brown, who I'm not going to lie, I did not like Bruce Brown. When we traded Brandon Ingram to the Raptors and got Bruce Brown out of the deal, I was like, okay, maybe he'll be some. He was not. That boy couldn't buy a bucket if his life depended on it. That guy couldn't land a freaking grape in an ocean if he wanted to. And, you know, yeah, it was time for CJ to go. Facts, yeah, it was just time, man. We had to move into a different era. And we also lost Kelly Olynyk, which Kelly Olynyk was all right. Like, he was solid. Like, he had his moments, but anyways. Pelicans have had a grade their off season. I would say a B, you know. I would say a B. I'm not mad at it. I think we could have did some more stuff, and we still might. Free agency is far from over. I feel like we could have did some more stuff, but I'm satisfied with what the work Joe Dumars has done. Anyways, that's enough of our boys. Now let's talk about the other boys. New York Knicks re-signed nobody. They added Jordan Clarkson and Gershon Yabusele and lost nobody. Okay, how do you feel about the Knicks offseason and what you think that they did?
Well, the Knicks lost a coach that took them to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Well, that's true.
That's their biggest loss. So I think just on the basis of that, I mean, it's not a very popular opinion. Some say, well, you know, Tibbs wasn't, you know, making the right substitution. You know, so what? As their teams were sitting at home watching them. Anyway, so I'm going to give the Knicks a C- here.
Yeah. Mick Swagger says the thing about the Pelicans is they always look good on paper at the beginning of the season. Yeah, that's the thing, man. Like, last year going into the year, I was like, bro, we could literally make the Western Conference Finals with the team that we got. DeJounte Murray, CJ McCollum, Zion, but we already knew we were going to Zion. That boy steps on a freaking ant. That boy could step on a freaking beetle and he'll probably be out for the season. Like that, man. Whatever. We got him. Yeah, we had Herb Jones. But the Pelicans won 21 games, mostly due to injuries, but also bad coaching performances and bad team performances. It was a whole mess. But yeah, Knicks, Jordan Clarkson and Gershon. It's like I don't even know who Gershon is. That is another auto-generated player. I think if I had to grade the Knicks, no, D plus just the Clarkson. Got Jimmy's, I don't know. Mick Swagger says, Jerry, thanks for sharing Mike's content. He's a cool guy. Oh, thanks, Mick Swagger. I appreciate that. Anyways, yeah. But if you want more cool stuff, then go to the Warren Newbie YouTube channel, aka the main thing, where you can get more cool content.
I changed the name. It's called Mic'd Up Sports now. Right there.
Okay, that's it. Yeah, or that.
Mic'd Up Sports.
Mic'd Up Sports, man. Yeah, go over there. That great place to find cool content too. All right, Oklahoma City Thunder, man. Now we gotta talk about the NBA champions, man. These OKC boys. They re-signed Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I'm gonna go subscribe. I bet Mick Swagger, please go do that. The Thunder they re-signed Shai on that record deal. They re-signed AJ Mitchell and Jalen Williams. They added nobody, and they only lost Dylan Jones. But to be fair, they added nobody because they don't really need anybody, right? So, great. So, how do you feel about the Thunder's offseason?
Well, you said it. I mean, they're the world champions for a reason. You don't have to tinker with that too much. Just keep you guys in-house, like SGA. You got to sign him. Got to give him the bag. So, staying status quo is an A- for me for the world champs.
Honestly, I'm gonna give the Thunder an A+. Like, yeah, they signed nobody, but what? Like, you're just gonna sign somebody even though you don't need them? Like, nah. They signed the most important player on their team, and that's the MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That's worth like half a roster. Okay, like I'm sorry, like that's worth like 10 different additions. Yeah, Shai. He just keeping Shai with that long-term bag. That's an A+. Orlando Magic. They re-signed Paolo Banchero and Mo Wagner. They added Desmond Bane and Tyus Jones. and they lost Cole Anthony, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and Gary Harris. How do you feel about the Magic all season?
I like it. It looks like they got some pieces for their bench. And they're a good young up and coming team as well. So I'm liking what they're doing. I'm gonna give them a B minus.
All right. Yeah, I like the Magic trade for Desmond Bane. Like, I don't like what they have to give up for him because, like I said earlier, 4 first-round picks for a guy that wasn't even the Grizzlies' best player. That's crazy. But if it works out, it works out. So, and Tyus Jones, he's a solid 3-and-D guy that can play defense and shoot the 3. And they lost Cole Anthony and KCP, obviously, in that trade. And then Gary Harris also went to the Bucks, so it's like, okay. But I would say, though, for the Magic, I would say a B. I'll just say it's solid B. So. Philadelphia 76ers re-signed Justin Edwards. Never saw a bucket from him. Eric Gordon and Kyle Lowry. They added Trent Walford, and they lost Gershon Yabusele, whoever that is. I ain't gonna lie, I did not realize Kyle Lowry's been in the league for 20 years.
Really?
Bro, I saw the notification on my phone saying that Kyle Lowry got extended, and I was gonna click on it and send a screenshot because I do every day major news from NFL and NBA, sometimes college football. And the thing said the 20-year NBA, and I'm like, when did Kyle Lowry get drafted? Bro, that boy got drafted in what? It's 2025, so that boy got drafted in 2005. Bro, what? Kyle Lowry's been playing basketball longer than I've been alive. That I did not expect. I thought he was in the league for maybe 12, 13 years. But 20 years is crazy. So how do you feel about the 76ers offseason, though?
I like it. They picked up a lot of people. They're putting them around Embiid. And so I'm going to give them a nice B minus.
I'm going to give them a C because I ain't going to lie. When Jordan Walford's your only addition, it's like, okay, bro. Man, they really need to get rid of Paul George because, that guy, he's so focused on them podcasts, man.
Podcast.
All right. Yep. Phoenix Suns. They re-signed Colin Gillespie, added Dylan Brooks, Jalen Green, Nigel Hayes-Davis, and Mark Williams. And they lost Kevin Durant, Tyus Jones, Cody Martin, Vasil Mysick, and Mason Plumlee. How do you feel about the Suns offseason?
That's a lot to lose there. Talking about Plumlee and Durant especially, and not, getting back some good players, but I mean you lost a lot there. So I don't expect Phoenix to be in the mix this year. So I'm gonna go ahead and give them a D plus.
Suns, I'm gonna give them a C because they did get lots of capital for Kevin Durant. Like Brooks, he brings defensive energy. Jalen Green, he's young, so maybe you can develop him. Hayes Davis, I don't know who the heck you are, buddy. Mark Williams, solid center. If y'all remember, he's the guy that got traded to the Lakers last year, but failed his physical, so they had to rescind it, if y'all remember. So they had to play that whole season with Jackson Hayes as their starting center. And obviously, they lost Kevin Durant, 2-time champ with the Warriors. Kevin Durant, one of the best players of all time, Kevin Durant. Tyus Jones, that's a big loss. Cody Martin, that's also a big loss. Guy that could shoot and also play some good defense off the bench. Mysick, don't know who you are. Mason Plumlee, a big body, and that's the guy that I thought the Suns really could have used. So, yeah, the Suns, they're gonna not be a good team next year. That's all I know. So if I had to grade the Suns, I would say just a C. Portland Trailblazers re-signed nobody. They added Drew Holiday, and they lost Anthony Simons and DeAndre Ayton. So how do you feel about the Trailblazers free agency?
Trailblazers, they seems like they lost some good talent there with Andre Ayton, or however you say the name.
DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah, that guy. So I think it's gonna be a rough one for them. I'm gonna go ahead and give them a solid C though.
I'm gonna give them a B. You know, they got Drew Holiday in the trade for Anthony Simons. That's good. I feel like Drew Holiday is a great defensive player to have. And, you know, Anthony Simons, he's a good young player, but if you get Drew Holiday, like, and if y'all remember before he went to Boston, the Trailblazers in that, I think it was the Damian Lillard trade, I think, the Bucks sent Holiday over to the Trailblazers, but then they traded him to the Celtics because they were just like buying him out or whatever. But yeah, Ayton, he's not that good. Okay, I'm sorry, but he's just not. Simons, he had potential. So for the Trailblazers, I'll give them a B. Sacramento Kings re-signed not a soul. They added Dennis Schroeder and Dario Saric, and they lost Jake LaRavia and Jonas Valanciunas. How do you feel about the Kings offseason?
I think it was subpar. I mean, nothing really jumps out at me. So I'm gonna go ahead and they could have done better. I'm gonna go ahead and give them a C minus.
C minus, you said. Okay. Yeah. Honestly, this is a freaking. I try to give an F, but this is literally F material. It's like they got worse at literally everything. The Kings are literally going to be one of the worst teams in the league next season. It's insane. Like Dennis Schroeder is your biggest pickup. Dennis Schroeder. Okay. Yeah. That's F. That's a capital F. All right. San Antonio Spurs re-signed nobody. They added Luke Cornett and they lost Sandro Mamukelashvili. Whatever that is, bro. That ain't even a name. That's just letters. You just jumbled together. I don't know what in the world, Mama Killer, bro. That's just letters at that point. How do you feel about the Spurs all season?
Yeah, I have no idea who that guy is you just mentioned, so I really can't give a take on it. Other than that, it doesn't look like the Spurs did much of anything. So I got to just stay neutral and say, I give them a C.
See, Luke Cornett's Mick Swagger's laughing. It's like, bro, what am I supposed to do with this? His name is just letters. It's like, sometimes you have this urge just to type out random letters on the computer just because, or on your phone, you're texting somebody, you just text random letters. That's literally what they did with his birth certificate. They just typed out random letters just because they were bored. So, yeah. Spurs, they added Luke Cornett, which, solid pickup. He's the guy that had a great playoff game against the Knicks when he was with Boston. So I'm gonna give it a D plus if it works out great. If it doesn't, all right. You still got Wemby and De'Aaron Fox, so maybe the team will be somewhat good next year. Toronto Raptors, they re-signed Jakob Poeltl, Garrett Temple, and they added. Here we go with this guy again. They added Sandro Mamukelashvili. How do you feel about the Raptors free agency?
I think Canada teams shouldn't be in the NBA. That's what I think. Nobody wants to go to Canada. It looks it because the Raptors didn't sign nobody. Nobody wants to go over there. So I'm gonna just go ahead and give them a D. Get this out the way. So D, my brother, D.
I'm gonna give them an F minus. Cause why do they have to make me say this guy's name again? I just got done saying his name with Spurs. They lost Sandro just so him can go to Toronto, which happens to be the next one I talk about. Man, Raptors, y'all suck. Man, F minus, bro. Bro, get this man out of my face. I don't know what this guy's birth certificate says, but I would hate to be that doctor having to write all that down. But anyways, Utah Jazz. They re-signed no one. They added Kyle Anderson, Kevin Love, and Yusuf Nurkic, and they lost John Collins, Johnny Zuzang, Colin Sexton, and Jordan Clarkson. How do you feel about the Jets? The Jazz free agency.
The Jazz pretty much should be the Jets. Is the Jazz still in the NBA? Because of what they did on draft day, I'm surprised they didn't that some fans just didn't go burn their buildings down. That's what I think about the Jazz. So I'm gonna go ahead and give them a F because it doesn't matter what y'all do. I don't think they know what they're doing over there. They need to fire everybody. Everybody, how some people say, you don't mean everybody. Yes, I'm talking about everybody. I'm talking about the janitors. The janitors need to get fired. They're not sweeping the floors right or something. They're not mopping. They're not wiping down the windowsills. I mean, I'm just done with the Jazz. Bring back Pete Maravich. Come on, Pistol Pete.
Bro, ain't that man like 60 years old?
That man is long gone dead, bro.
Well, that's cool. I don't know when he was playing, but I don't think you can bring someone back from the dead just to play basketball. I'm sorry, I don't think that's how it works. So.
You saw the Michael Jackson Thriller video? Yes, you can.
Okay, but I'm very sure that was the internet, but okay. Jazz, bro, they got the dude that shoots the ball like he's freaking constipated and just trying to shoot a slingshot at the same time. Like that, bro, like his arms literally are at the back of his head trying to shoot the ball. Bro, he shoots the ball like he has like he hates gravity and like he hates everything. Like, bro, that boy. If you ever seen a guy who shoots the ball like he doesn't ever touch a basketball, look up Kyle Anderson's jump form. He really like shoots the ball with like one hand on top of the ball, one hand under the ball, and just throws it up. And somehow, they make it at the time. It's like it's crazy. Like I don't know what the Jazz are doing here. I guess I don't know. D, just because I mean I don't know. I can't even explain. All right, last team to go over for today and for this entire offseason until next year. Washington Wizards re-signed nobody. They added C.J. McCollum, Dylan Jones, Kelly Olynyk, and Cam Whitmore, and they lost Sadiq Bey, Anthony Gill, and Jordan Poole. How do you feel about the Wizards offseason?
I love the Wizards because they gave us Jordan Poole and his partner. So I thank them for that. And other than that, they got McCollum, which is an older Jordan Poole, really. So that was pretty much a wash. So I'm going to go ahead and give them a C. I'm going to stay right down the middle of the road. Give them a C.
I'm going to give them a B because I feel like C.J. McCollum was probably one of our best players last season. I know that's not saying much, but C.J. McCollum, when he was healthy, was playing pretty good. So I'm going to say a B. But, Dad, do you have anything else to say?
I think we're good.
All right. Shout out to Connor, #35Bombers, Jerry G, and Mick Swagger for checking out the Hurricane Mike Show, where you can find us every week and soon to be 3 times a freaking week. Or really 4 times if you think about it. Anyways, so how do hold on, let me think. How do I end the show? Dad, we're gonna find you.
You can find me at Mic'd Up Sports right there. Like, share, subscribe, turn the bell on, all that. I'm working on some videos. I'm working on some reels, some shorts. They're about to drop soon. And always remember that Falcons suck.
Yep. But yeah, you can always find me at Hurricane Mike, Kyle Phelps, and Keeping It Real, Who That's Sports Podcast. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share, turn the bell on so you don't miss any uploads like this or any streams like this where you get to chill out with your favorite dynamic duo. Anyways. And also, don't forget, we always leave off with this. Who that? Still who that?
Who that?
Don't be a what?
Don't be a Falcon fan. Don't be them. Kirk Cousins. Gotta give him that bag.
Kirk Cousins hates the Falcons.
He does. He's a turd.
Yep. Bye, everybody.